Hey everyone, welcome back to Wheel Reverend, where we take the world of two wheels and break it down for real riders. Whether you're carving trails, tackling weekend back roads, or just dreaming about your next ride, this is the place to be. Today, we've got something fresh, lightweight, and seriously fun to talk about: the 2026 Kawasaki KLX 230. This updated dual sport machine is aimed straight at beginner and intermediate riders who want capability without complexity, all at a price point that doesn't empty the bank. Now, the KLX 230 has been around for a few years, but for 2026, Kawasaki has taken rider feedback seriously and delivered a package that's more refined, more reliable, and yes, is still just as approachable. But how does it actually feel on the road and trail? Is it worth your cash in a market that's heating up with competition? Let's dive in, starting with the heart of the bike, the engine. The KLX 230 continues with its air-cooled 233cc, single-cylinder, 4-stroke engine. No surprises there. It's simple, reliable, and proven. What's new for 2026 is a refined EQ mapping that improves throttle response and fuel efficiency. Kawasaki claims about a 3% improvement in mid-range torque delivery compared to the previous model, and while that might not sound like a lot on paper, out on the trail, you'll notice a slightly snappier feel, especially in second and third gear. The engine is mated to a 6-speed gearbox, which gives you just enough flexibility for trail work and highway cruising. You won't be flying at 75 miles per hour comfortably for long stretches, but that's not what the KLX 230 is really built for. Think of it more as a trail bike with just enough road manners to get you to the next trailhead. Let's talk about the ride. Suspension is where Kawasaki made some subtle but appreciated upgrades. The 2026 model still uses a 37mm telescopic fork up front and a uni-track rear suspension setup, but spring rates have been retuned for better response. If you're under 200 pounds and you're not sending massive jumps, the stock suspension will feel surprisingly well balanced. It soaks up roots, rocks, and even some light whoops without bottoming out. For taller or heavier riders, you might want to consider upgrading the rear shock, but for most people, it hits the sweet spot between comfort and capability. The brakes are another area where Kawasaki stepped things up. You've got the 240mm pedal disc up front and a 220mm in the rear. Nothing fancy, but with the updated Nissan calipers for 2026, braking feels more progressive and controlled. ABS is optional this year, and honestly, that's a smart move. Riders can now choose between the standard KLX 230 and the KLX 230 ABS, depending on their preference and riding style. If you're doing mostly off-road, the non-ABS version gives you that locked-up rear control for tighter turns. If you're sticking more to pavement or wet roads, ABS is a solid choice for added safety. Design-wise, Kawasaki kept it lean and mean. The 2026 KLX 230 sports a fresh graphic kit with updated tank shrouds, and for those who notice the small things, the seat texture has changed to a slightly grippier material, which helps keep you planted when climbing steep sections. The bike still keeps that classic Kawasaki lime green colorway as its primary, but now also comes in a new stealthy black-on-black edition that looks incredibly clean. The LCD display is minimalist but functional. You've got speed, gear indicator, fuel gauge, trip meter, and odometer. No fancy TFT here, but it's clear and easy to read. For a bike in this segment, that's totally acceptable. There's also a new handlebar-mounted pass light and hazard switch, small touches, but they reflect Kawasaki's intention to make this bike more commuter-friendly and adventure-ready. Weight is always a critical factor with dual-sport bikes, especially for beginners. At around 291 pounds wet, the KLX 230 remains one of the lighter full-size dual sports you can buy. It's incredibly manageable for newer riders, and short riders will appreciate the low seat height of just under 35 inches. It strikes a decent compromise, high enough for off-road ground clearance but not so tall that you're tiptoeing at every red light. One area where the KLX 230 really shines is fuel economy. With the 2-gallon fuel tank and a frugal engine, you're looking at anywhere between 75 to 85 miles per gallon, depending on how hard you're riding. That gives you a theoretical range of 150 to 170 miles per tank, which is more than enough for most weekend outings. Plus, Kawasaki has included a new locking gas cap and slightly more durable tank plastics for this year's model. Again, little things that add up to real-world value. Now let's talk about pricing. As of release, the 2026 KLX 230 is priced at $4,999 for the standard version and $5,399 for the ABS model. That's competitive when you look at what Honda's CRF 300L or Yamaha's XT250 are going for. What gives Kawasaki an edge is that blend of affordability, reliability, and simplicity. You're not paying for features you don't need. You're getting a real trail-ready machine that's also easy to maintain and fun to ride. Speaking of maintenance here, because this is a bike that'll likely attract a lot of DIY riders up, it's super straightforward. The air filter is easily accessible, oil changes are simple, and the valve intervals are generous. There's no radiator to worry about since it's air-cooled, which also means one less thing to fail out on the trail. The KLX 230 is one of those bikes you can wrench on in your garage without needing a service manual for every bolt. One of the unique selling points of the 2026 KLX 230 is just how versatile it is. It's not the most powerful, it's not the fastest, but it might be the most practical in its class. You can ride it to work during the week, hit the trails on the weekend, teach a friend how to ride, and still have a blast doing it. It fits into so many roles as a beginner bike, commuter, trail explorer, or even a platform for a lightweight adventure build. In fact, we're seeing more riders customize these with small luggage racks, USB chargers, and even GPS mounts for longer adventures. And yes, aftermarket support is growing. Companies are now making upgraded exhausts, lighting kits, and even suspension upgrades specifically for the KLX 230, so you're not locked into stock if you want to personalize your ride. Of course, no bike is perfect. If we're nitpicking, we'd love to see slightly wider foot pegs, maybe a metal skid plate as standard, and perhaps a 300cc variant down the road to compete more directly with the bigger CRF models. But that's wish list territory. In reality, the 2026 Kawasaki KLX 230 stays true to what it's always been about: fun, freedom, and functional dual sport riding without breaking the bank. It's a great learner bike. It's a great lightweight dual sport for those who don't need 40+ horsepower to enjoy a day in the dirt. And it's a bike that you'll likely keep around even after you've moved on to bigger machines just because it's so easy and enjoyable to ride. So, should you buy it? If you're looking for a simple, affordable, and trail-capable dual sport that's equally at home on city streets and forest paths, the KLX 230 should absolutely be on your radar. It won't overwhelm you, but it'll definitely keep up with your sense of adventure. And that wraps up our deep dive on the 2026 Kawasaki KLX 230. What do you think? Is this your next dual sport? Or are you eyeing something else in the segment? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from fellow riders. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Wheel Reverend for more honest reviews and two-wheeled content, and we'll catch you next time.